What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Miguelito To Toe, the podcast where we keep it real about boxing, no sugarcoating. Today's episode, this one is heavy because we're not talking about wins. We're not talking about knockouts. We're talking about something the sport doesn't like to face: fighter death in boxing. And the real question is, who's to blame? Is it the promoters, the refs, the commissions, or is it just the sport itself? Let's talk about it. First things first, let's not lie to ourselves. Boxing is dangerous. This is not basketball. This is not football. This is a sport where the goal is to hit someone in the head until they can't continue. That alone brings risk of brain damage, trauma, and long term conditions like chronic traumatic encephalopathy and sometimes death. So before we even blame anybody, we have to accept one fact: boxing itself carries the risk. Now let's talk about the system, because boxing isn't like the NFL or the NBA. There's no one boss. You got different commissions, different sanctioning bodies like the World Boxing Council, different rules depending on where you fight. And that's a problem because safety becomes inconsistent. One state might suspend a fighter for 90 days after a knockout, another might let him fight again way too soon. Commissions like the Nevada State Athletic Commission are supposed to protect fighters. But when the system is fragmented, things slip through the cracks. Let's talk about promoters. At the end of the day, boxing is a business. Tickets need to sell. Pay-per-view needs to move. Events needs to happen. So what happens? Fighters take fights they shouldn't take. Mismatches get made. Guys go in hurt and nobody stops it because money is on the line. And sometimes business comes before safety. Now, this one is personal because the people closest to the fighter are supposed to protect them the most: the trainer, the corner, the referee. Your corner is like your family in that ring. They're supposed to say, enough, you're done. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they let their fighters take too much punishment. And refs, they are the last line of defense. If a ref hesitates for even a few seconds too long, that can be the difference between life and death. We've seen it before with fighters like Benny Perret. That tragedy changed how people looked at stoppages forever. And now, the hardest truth. Sometimes the fighters play a role too. Not because it's their fault, but because of the mentality. Fighters are warriors. They don't quit. They don't speak up. They fight through headaches, dizziness, damage. They'll lie to doctors. They'll hide injuries. Because this is how they feed their families. Because this is who they are. And that mindset, as powerful as it is, can also be dangerous. So let's answer the question: who's to blame for deaths in boxing? Is it the promoters? Partly. The commissions? Yes. The refs and corners? Sometimes. The fighters? In a way. But the real answer is this: it's the system. A system where safety isn't always consistent, money creates pressure, and the sport itself is built on damage. Boxing doesn't just have a danger problem, it has a system problem. At the end of the day, we love boxing, but loving the sport also means being real about it. Because fighters are not just entertainment, they are human beings, stepping into something dangerous every single time. So the question isn't just who's to blame, the real question is, what are we going to change? If you rocked with this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. This is Miguelito To Toe, and I'll catch you on the next one.